Hey guys, John here, and in this video I'm going to be going over the new information we received about Telos, and letting you guys know what my plans are regarding guides for the boss and videos dedicated to Telos shortly after release. The first thing that I wanted to mention was that I will more than likely be making two guides for Telos. The first will be right on the day of release with as much information that I can get in any successful day of release methods. However, since these methods usually change as more is found out about bosses after the first day, I'll be making a more proper in-depth guide in the week to 2 week range after release once a proper method has been discovered and all of the mechanics have been worked out. I will also be trying as hard as I can to get my hands on the new weapons right on release for a comparison and showcase video, but I can't guarantee that as I don't have the funds available to purchase them right on the day of release, so it depends on me being able to borrow them from people for the video. With that being said though, I want to show you guys what we know right now about the boss. Before we do that though, I want to quickly give credit to first all of the RuneScape Twitch channel and their combat team, as well as a player known as Mr. GW for his very helpful Reddit posts and analysis into the game. If you want to check out the social media profiles for these guys, check in the description and give them a follow. So jumping right into the big news we know about, as confirmed yesterday, we will be getting 3 new tier 92 two-handed weapons. We will be seeing the Zeros Godsword for melee, Saren Godbow for ranged, and the Staff of Sliske for magic. All of these weapons will be augmentable at release, but they will not be dyeable. They do degrade but can be repaired like current tier 90 weapons, and they are also tradable. They're made in a similar way to Noxious weapons, combining various components dropped from Telos. As far as my predictions for this go, the bow and the staff are more or less clear-cut superior to the current tier 90 weapons we have in the game at the minute. The thing to note with the Godsword is that it will not have the halberd area of effect feature that the Noxious Scythe has. This means that at a lot of places such as Araxor, Scythe will still maintain its usefulness and probably be preferred to the Zeros Godsword in a lot of situations. The other thing I want to point out is that the Saren Godbow has less range than the Noxious Longbow. Another thing I want to mention is that we have new special attacks coming into the game with these weapons. The special for the Godsword is called Black Hole and will be like a melee equivalent to Sunshine as stated on the stream. What I'm gathering from this is that it will be 50% increased damage with 30-second time on it. They didn't state the exact damage increase, but I would have to assume that Zerk will still do more damage since it does not last as long, and you also take increased damage to balance it. The adrenaline cost for this isn't exactly clear based on this tweet from Mod Days on screen now, but I would imagine it would be 100% like an ultimate ability. The special for the bow is called Crystal Rain and is like the bombardment ability, but as it is described on the stream, you shoot up into the air and crystals fall down from the sky. If the NPC is large in the sense of taking up like a 5x5 area, it will hit more times than it would a small 1x1 target like a character. The adrenaline cost for this will be 50% adrenaline. The last special is for the staff and it is called From the Shadows. This will summon a wight that will attack your target. We don't really know the damage it will do yet or how strong it'll be, but it will work alongside any familiars or dreadnoughts you have out at the moment. The cost for this special attack will be 50% adrenaline. All of these weapons have tier 92 damage and accuracy across the board, so statistically they are all superior to the current tier 90 equivalents, like Noxious weapons. As far as my personal opinions, I think these will definitely be useful at places where you can't currently reach 100% accuracy, but I do not believe they will be game changing or worth spending tons of money on right at release. They'll be really great for anyone trying to beat boss time records, and still will probably be a noticeable difference in general PvM, but like I said, nothing game changing. I do definitely think they will have a place in RuneScape, and will also definitely diversify the PvM scene once they are more easily obtainable and affordable. The last drop to mention is an ability, not actually a weapon, that is based on the Zamorak faction. It's a threshold ability called Reprisal and requires level 85 Constitution. The description for the ability is any and all damage taken for 6 seconds will be stored and dealt back to your target up to 10,000 damage. You can use it in PvP, but it's described as having diminishing returns. The ability will have a 60-second cooldown. As for my personal opinion on this ability, I think it may have its moments where you would consider it useful, especially in tank roles, but since it only caps at 10k damage and takes 6 seconds to have an effect, I can't really think of a direct situation such as solo bossing where it would be overly useful since you have to tank that damage anyway. It may have its place in general PvM, but I think it might be more of a niche ability for specific roles, but ultimately we're just going to have to wait and see once it's released. Now jumping into the information we know directly about the boss, it's pretty obscure but we do know a few details. First of all, I just want to acknowledge how cool I think the idea is that we will be fighting Telos across different levels, descending lower down into the heart of Gielinor. It adds a lot of atmosphere to the fight in my opinion, at least in NXT, which I really think contributes to the overall feel of the encounter. To enter Telos' encounter, we're going to need a key that you can construct from pieces dropped by the God Wars 2 bosses. The key pieces are guaranteed drops, so just go kill them before the release if you plan on getting right into the boss. So what we currently know is that Telos will start off with 400k life points, but I would have to assume that this is phase-based, similar to Araxor. The combat level was hard to see during the stream, so I won't directly speculate on it other than there were clearly some zeros. Telos will not be immune to reflect damage. As for his difficulty, it scales. This is similar to a Raxor's Enrage mechanic. Apparently the first kill is tiered at the same level to a God Wars 2 challenge mode kill. Each kill increases in rage, so each kill will be harder than the kill before. The enrage gain per kill is not set apparently, it is rather a random 5 to 25% per kill, averaging around 15%. The enrage caps at 4000%, but apparently will be more or less impossible to reach this level of difficulty. They've stated that the most anyone has got to during testing was around 800%, but since then it's been buffed, so we'll really just have to wait and see where the line is drawn where it stops really being feasible. For his attacks, he will use all 3 combat styles. The ranged attack animation has not been determined yet, but we have seen the melee and the magic attacks. The melee attack is a swipe with his bladed arm. The magic attack is a yellow orb that shoots out of his chest. My personal prediction would be that he uses his non-bladed arm for his ranged attack, but we don't know for sure yet. There will be minions featured during the fight that represent the different combat styles, similar to a Raxor. At some point throughout the kill, there seems to be a fire line on the floor attack like we've seen at Vindicta and Gorvek. Another mechanic we can see in the video is a charge attack that appears to move the player out of the way. There also appears to be a stun attack where he says hold still invader, and then promptly melees you and stuns you. There is also an attack where he jumps up and stomps down onto you. I would assume that this is a special attack, so you may be able to avoid it by running away from it. The last thing to really know is that you can't walk Telos. As for the drops should be quite rewarding whether you get a rare drop or not, so it should become a consistent moneymaker. However, the big new change is that there is a kill streak mechanic. The way this is described to work is basically that after you complete a kill, you will be able to take your loot or keep going. If you decide not to cash out, you can restock your supplies and head in for another kill, but it will be harder than the last one. If you get this next kill, you again have the choice of cashing out or continuing your kill streak. According to Mod Ramen in the BTS video, the higher your kill streak, the more rewarding your drops will be. The risk to this is that if you are to die or end up leaving the area in any way during the boss fight, you forfeit all loot that you have stacked up. This is a really cool and interesting mechanic in my opinion, and should be really awesome content to stream or make videos about. The JMod spoke about seeing someone get a crazy kill streak and end up getting all of the possible drops in one loot after racking up a ton of kills. As for the unique rewards, there will be an item that you will attach the hilt pieces to. The 3 hilt pieces will be tradable, but the item you attach them will not be. This is kind of like the opposite of a Raxor. There will also be a boss pet for Telos. For my final thoughts in conclusion, all I can really say is that I'm honestly really excited for this boss. If you guys didn't know, PVM is the core of what I love and enjoy in RuneScape, and this sounds like something that will be fun and rewarding for a very long time, but is sorely overdue in the high-level PVM scene in my opinion. I really can't wait to see how the weapons factor into the current bosses, and how they apply at Telos himself. That pretty much wraps up this video, guys. I would really appreciate it if you gave me a like and subscribed, and I really hope this video informs those who like to learn through videos rather than text posts. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to the individuals on Reddit and the JMods who have worked to get this information out to us and compile it before the release. Take care, guys, and make sure to tune in over the next few days for a few more Telos videos and guides.